Good morning, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to day 11, another edition of albums that are 50 years old in 2021. So these are albums, of course, that were recorded and released in 1971. Arguably one of the greatest years in rock and roll history. So what I'm doing here, if you just tuned in for the first time, is each day of the month of February, 28 days, 28 of my favorite album releases that are turning 50 this year, released originally in 1971. As well, I'm going to give you an honorable mention each day from that larger list of albums that didn't quite make the cut of top 28. So let's get started with my pick for today. Day 11, I guess you all have been waiting for me to talk about this one because there's no way in the world that I wouldn't. Of course, it had to be on my list. I'm talking about the album that was released July 21st, 1971. Recorded in Island Studios in London, England. Released on the Vertigo label. Produced by none other than Roger Bain. Got to be talking about Master of Reality, right? Third album from Black Sabbath. Easily, for me, a top 3 album of all time for this band. You know, along with Volume 4 and, you know, Paranoid and Sabotage and Sabbath Bloody Sabbath and Heaven and Hell, Mob Rules, first album. Those are, to me, you know, Born Again. Those are, you know, that's the cream of the crop of the Sabbath canon as far as I'm concerned. But Master of Reality, always been a top 3 album for me. Volume 4 was always my favorite, but I think Master of Reality, if it's not number 2, it's number 3, depending on the week you ask me. But a great album, and, you know, another album that solidified Sabbath's place in rock history. I mean, they had that first album that, you know, got a lot of attention for them. It's the second album, Paranoid, that really made them a bigger band. But it was Here and Everything Going Forward that made them, you know, true superstars. And some absolutely classic Sabbath songs on this album. You've got Sweet Leaf. Of course, we know what that's all about. That sweet tasting leaf that you fire up, right? You've got After Forever, for my money, the unsung hero of this album. It's one of my favorite songs from the album that people just never talk about. Of course, you've got Children of the Grave. That was the big, you know, famous Sabbath doom metal anthem from this album. You got Lord of this World, Solitude, and of course The Crusher to end it all, Into the Void. Of course, you got, you know, Embryo and Orchid, the two little gentle pieces on the album. But you know, this is all about the big, bruising, heavy stuff. Another one of those albums that people often cite as one of the, you know, originators of the stoner rock or stoner metal movement. You know, kind of started with this album, and I wouldn't argue that at all. It's a classic. It's so massively heavy. You know, you got some faster paced stuff on here, but certainly some slow and doomy things. And there's just this ominous kind of feeling you get when you listen to this album. And I love the production of this album. I like the kind of lo-fi nature of this. I think it really works here. Just a classic heavy album from, I mean, you look at the time, right? 1971, pretty damn heavy album for 71. Pretty damn heavy and dark and doomy. So yeah, Master of Reality is my pick for today. Day number 11. My honorable mention today is going to go to an album that, I mean, I like this album a lot, and it just shows you, again, I stress this every day, you know, when I get to my honorable mention picks, there's a lot of people that are like, oh my God, I can't believe that album was relegated to an honorable mention on your list. But that just goes to show you the strength of the releases that came out in this year. That so many legendary classic albums don't even make the cut of 28 for me, right? They're great albums. I love them. But I just happen to like some other albums a little bit more, right? So here today, again, great album. Madman Across the Water by Elton John. I mean, just so many great songs on here, right? The iconic songs. Tiny Dancer, Leave On. You know, you've got the amazing title track. You got all the nasties, right? Holiday Inn, Indian Sunset, the kick-ass Razorface. Right, Rotten Peaches. I mean, you know, just Goodbye. Just a classic Elton John album that just gets better and better with age. Right? Ironically enough, doesn't quite make my top 28. That's how crazy good this year was. So there you have it. Master Reality by Black Sabbath is my pick for today. My honorable mention, Madman Across the Water by Elton John. Two absolute stone cold classics right there. You know the drill, everybody. In the comments below, list your pick for today, day 11. Okay, as well as an honorable mention. We're going to do this each and every day throughout the month of February till we finish it up. I'm working on another idea for something to do during the month of March, so that's you'll hear about that in a couple of weeks. And but till tomorrow, think about what your next day's pick is going to be. So I'll be curious to see what some of you guys are choosing here today, day 11, on albums that are turning 50 years old this year, celebrating 1971. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, of course. We're here on YouTube all the damn time. So coming up tonight, got some cool programming tonight. So at early evening tonight, we've got Jason Morris, one of our longtime loyal viewers, coming on board for Viewer Appreciation Day. He and I are going to rank the studio albums of German power metal veterans Edguy. All right, we're looking at about 10 albums there, so that's happening tonight, early evening. But at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, join us live for a special edition of the Monsters Den, live, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Chris Allo, Rich Catino, and myself offering up some of our favorite serial killer delights, some classic films where you've got a serial killer running rampage, right? These could be films from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, right? Sky's the limit on what we could choose for. There's been so many good ones over the years, so that's happening live tonight. We will be talking about and giving our picks, talking about the films that we've got picked out for you, as well as we'll be taking some of your questions. So if you're a horror movie fanatic, okay, love serial killer films, tune in live tonight here on YouTube. We'll have the chat room going, so we'll be talking about these films and occasionally looking at your questions and comments and bringing them up to the team, right? So that's happening tonight live at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Monsters Den, first ever live show here on Sea of Tranquility YouTube channel. So stay tuned for that. Tomorrow morning, Martin Popoff and I, bright and early in the morning, getting together to do part 2 of our little series on those perfect albums. So we've each got 5 more choices for you, 5 more picks of albums that we deem top to bottom pretty damn perfect. So that's coming up tomorrow morning. Over the weekend, on Sunday, got another cool show for you. We've got Rich Catino, Sydney Taylor, and myself offering up our 10 favorite albums from Swedish guitar virtuoso Yngwie Malmsteen. And then also on Sunday, Lynn Versace's coming back on the show. She and I are going to talk about this concept that we kind of started a few weeks ago about mellow songs from heavy bands. Whereas the other time around, it was heavy songs from non-heavy bands, right? So here we're going to kind of switch that around. How about those heavy bands that occasionally popped out something really mellow that was kind of cool? So we're going to be each giving our 10 favorites in that category. So that's all happening on Sunday. And then, of course, another live broadcast on Monday night with the Hudson Valley Squares, where it's all about your questions and our answers. No topic. It's just a kind of 90-minute free-for-all. You guys come on board in the chat and direct your questions at any of the squares, and we'll be happy to answer them and tackle them. So that's coming up Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So stay tuned for that and all sorts of other stuff. Oh, also, I know a lot of you asked, and I'm hoping to get to it today, if not today, tomorrow. Going to be reviewing this little bad boy, right? So stay tuned for that. And like I said, a whole lot more. So also, if we have any Norwegian black metal fans out there, specifically the band Immortal, Steve Keeler and I will be ranking the studio catalog of Immortal in about 2 weeks. So that's happening as well. I'm also looking to do relatively soon ranking the studio albums of Doom legend St. Vitus. Oh, and Ryan Scow from the Hudson Valley Squares and I will be giving our 10 favorite albums, I believe it's next week, of Manila Road. All right, great U.S. Heavy metal band. So a lot of stuff coming up. So stay tuned for all of it. Make sure you subscribe. If you like what you see, please consider clicking on that Ko-Fi link, buy us a beer, whatever. All your contributions are greatly appreciated to keep this channel going. So we'll see you all real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.